So here are the two pieces of fabric, and this is the one sewn with straight lines, this is the one sewn with the diagonal straight lines, and we're going to take those and put those with the right sides together and pin the corners, and we're going to stitch around them. So I'm just going to put pins in the corners to hold them together right where I want them. The first side that we're stitching, we're not going to stitch the full side. We're going to start about right here. When we go all the way around, we'll stop about right there, so it'll leave an opening about this big. We're going to use a 3/8 inch seam allowance, which is the first line right here. Okay, so that means I line up the edge of my fabric to that first line. Okay, then I lower my presser foot. Okay, then I'm going to push this button right here. Okay, this arrow is going to point down, and that means my needle is going to stop in the down position. And that is so I can pivot. My corners need to be pivoted, because if I pivot the corners, then I get nice clean corners. If I continue to sew straight and then I backstitch and then I sew straight again and backstitch, then when I cut the corner off to get rid of the bulk, it's going to cut the stitches and the corner will come out. So I have to do a really nice pivot or it doesn't work right. So I'm just going to stitch this right to this edge. The horizontal edge is you're going to stop right before it gets to this. See where that right here, right before this gets there, you're going to stop the needle in the down position. Then I'm going to lift the presser foot up and I'm going to turn it. And if you stop in the right place, this should line up perfectly with the line it's supposed to be lined up with. And then I lower the presser foot again. Okay, you can never run your machine without the presser foot in the down position, because that engages the tension. So you want to make sure the tension is engaged. Okay, then I'm going to stitch across this edge. 3/8. I'm going to do the same thing when I get to this corner. All of my corners need to be pivoted, or else when I cut the corners off, my stitches will cut off. Okay. And now I'm coming up on the last corner. Now notice how the batting kind of got in the way a little. That's okay. You can stitch on the batting to get it in the right place. Okay. And then turn it. On the last one, we're only going to stitch in so we leave an opening. Okay. So you don't want to go all the way in. You're just going to stitch far enough in so that you get a nice pretty corner. And then I'm going to push the needle up so that the hat goes up right here, and then I tap the foot pedal and my needle comes up, and then I can come out. Okay, and then just cut your threads. And I've trimmed up all my threads because that's what I do. Okay, now I have a little opening right here. Before I flip it, I want to cut my corners off. So when I cut this, I want to cut it so that I don't cut my stitches, because that's why it's really important to have pivots, so that you cut the bulk out of the corner but it doesn't cut your stitches, because if I cut my stitches, then the stitching is just going to come apart. So I'm going to take and just cut those corners. I'm cutting slow to make sure I didn't cut the stitches. And 1, 2, 3, and 4.